What Spartan Warriors taught us about fitness and discipline, long before there were gyms, before protein shakes, and way before the idea of a workout even existed, there was the agoge. It was a brutal, unforgiving system designed not just to build soldiers, but to forge the most feared warriors of the ancient world. These men were taught to endure unimaginable hardship, to face death without flinching, and to cultivate a discipline so absolute it became the stuff of legends. But what if that legendary Spartan code isn't lost to history? What if the principles that built these warriors are being used right now to create a new kind of elite discipline in our modern world? We're about to uncover the brutal truths of Spartan training and show you exactly how to apply their ancient wisdom to build your own peak performance. The Forge of Warriors inside the agoge. To understand the Spartan warrior, you have to understand the forge that created him. It was called the agoge, a state-run training program that was less of a school and more of a production line for human weapons. For nearly every Spartan citizen boy, this process began at the tender age of 7. Imagine, as a child, being taken from your family, not with warm goodbyes, but with the cold, hard fact that your life wasn't yours anymore. It belonged to the state of Sparta. From that day on, you'd live in communal barracks with other boys, grouped together like a herd of animals. Your new home was a world of non-stop competition and suffering. Comfort was a weakness, something to be purged. Boys were forced to train barefoot, no matter the terrain or the weather, to toughen up their feet and their spirit. They were given just one cloak to wear all year round, a constant, chilling lesson in enduring the elements. Beatings and harsh discipline weren't just common, they were a scheduled part of the day, designed to build an insane tolerance for pain and unquestioning obedience. Food was another weapon turned against them. It was kept deliberately scarce, just enough to keep you going, but never, ever enough to feel full. This constant state of hunger was designed to make them lean, mean, and resourceful. To get more food, they were actually encouraged to steal. But here was the catch. The crime wasn't the stealing itself. The crime was getting caught. If you were found out, the punishment was severe. Not for the theft, but for your lack of stealth. It was a brutal but brutally effective lesson in thinking on your feet. Everything was a test. Their sports were more like brawls, where the goal was to push, kick, and gouge your opponents off an island. They drilled constantly in combat, wrestling, and boxing to sharpen their skills for war. And surprisingly, even dancing was a key part of their training, teaching them to move with their weapons until a spear and shield felt like a part of their own body. But the agoge's goal was bigger than creating individual super soldiers. It was about forging a collective identity. A Spartan's loyalty wasn't to himself, but to the man standing next to him in the phalanx, that impenetrable wall of shields and spears that made their army so dominant. Your shield didn't just protect you, it protected the man to your left. This brotherhood, forged in shared pain and relentless training, was their true secret weapon. By the time a boy survived the agoge, he was more than a soldier. He was a gear in the deadliest fighting machine the world had ever seen, a living symbol of discipline, resilience, and loyalty. Now, this was a world of brutal extremes, built for an age of constant warfare. The methods were harsh, and a lot of it is better left in the past. So, what can we, in our world of comfort and completely different challenges, really learn from this? How do we adapt their code without adopting their cruelty? Well, the lessons are more relevant than you might think, and they really boil down to 3 core principles. The Spartan code in the modern world, forging unbreakable endurance. First up is endurance, both in body and in mind. Spartans were built to last. Long, forced marches over rough country, sometimes for over 30 miles in full armor, were just another day at the office. They didn't train for short bursts of energy. They trained to simply not quit, to outlast any enemy, and to push through any hardship. In our world, this is the foundation of mental grit. It's not about marching in armor. It's about finding activities that test your long-term resolve. This is exactly why you see people flocking to endurance challenges like marathons, long-distance cycling, or rucking, which is just carrying a weighted pack over a long distance. The point of this kind of training isn't just to get your heart rate up. It's about that moment, deep into a run or a hike, when every single part of you is screaming to stop, but your mind just says no. It's in that quiet fight against your own limits where you forge that Spartan-like endurance. You're teaching your brain, over and over, that your will is stronger than your discomfort. That's a skill that translates from the running trail to literally every other challenge in your life. Building functional, purpose-driven strength. The second lesson is that your fitness has to be functional. Spartans didn't train for looks. Their powerful physiques were a side effect of their training, not the goal. They trained for one purpose: to be deadly on the battlefield. They lifted heavy, awkward things like stones and logs. They wrestled, and they drilled for combat because those were the skills that kept them alive. This philosophy is the heart of modern functional fitness. It's about building real-world strength that actually serves you. So, instead of isolating one muscle on a machine, the modern Spartan approach uses compound movements that fire up the whole body. Think deadlifts, squats, pull-ups, and kettlebell swings. These are the movements that build the kind of strength that lets you haul heavy groceries, stay stable on your feet, and move with power. That famous 300 workout from the movie? It's basically a high-intensity, modern take on this exact principle, mashing together body weight and weighted exercises into a brutal circuit. It might be extreme, but its core idea is pure Spartan. Your body should be a capable tool, ready for anything, not just a statue to be admired. True strength isn't just how much you can lift, it's about what you can do with it. The cornerstone: cultivating elite mental toughness. And that brings us to the third and most important principle, the one holding it all together: elite mental toughness. A Spartan's greatest weapon was never his spear. It was his mind. The agoge, more than anything else, was a system for hardening the mind against pain, fear, and complaint. So, how do we build that mental fortress today? Through voluntary hardship. They were forced into it. We have to choose it. This can be as simple as taking a cold shower when you're craving a hot one. It's pushing out one more rep when your muscles are on fire. It's practicing intermittent fasting to gain control over your body's signals. These small, deliberate choices build the muscles of resilience. You're teaching your mind that you are in charge, not your fleeting desire for comfort. This also applies to the Spartan idea of discipline as a daily habit. They lived by a strict code, and that consistency made them strong. For us, that means building routines and sticking to them, whether you feel motivated or not. Motivation is a feeling, but discipline is a choice. You start small, build that consistency, and let the momentum forge an unbreakable routine. Finally, think about the laconic mindset. Spartans were famous for their short, direct, and often witty way of speaking. This wasn't just a style. It reflected a mind that was free of emotional drama and pointless complaints. Practicing that kind of mental clarity, focusing only on what's essential and tuning out the noise, is a powerful form of modern mental discipline. The legacy of the Spartan warrior isn't a call to be brutal or to go back to a savage time. It's a powerful reminder of what we're all capable of. It teaches us that real, lasting strength is forged in hardship. It shows us that discipline isn't a punishment, but a tool that frees us from our own weaknesses and excuses. The core Spartan principles, unbreakable endurance, functional strength, and unshakable mental toughness, are timeless. They prove that we can all endure more than we think and achieve far more than we believe. You don't need to live in ancient Sparta to build a Spartan spirit. You just have to be willing to do the hard work, to choose discipline over comfort, and to understand that the obstacle in your way is the way. If you found some value in these ancient lessons, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more content that pushes your limits, and drop a comment below letting us know which Spartan principle you're going to tackle first.